Hi, this is Scott with the Hollinger Team. Welcome to our newest installment of our real estate blog. The topic on this blog is the first quarter of 2017 and a look back at how it compares to the first quarter of 2016 so we have an idea of what the pace of our market is. First off, we had a long winter, lots of snow, followed by a lot of rain. I checked this morning in the paper and we are almost at 100% above average for precipitation for this year. So it's kind of reflected in the level activity that we've had in the first quarter of this year. Since the end of that quarter, we've seen things pick up, so I think the next quarter report's going to be some nice and promising numbers. First off, overall on all the lakes combined, there were 10 sales, residential sales this first quarter of this year compared with 8 last year, and 2 vacant land sales compared to 4 last year. So a little bit of a mixed bag. I went back and checked previous quarters several years back and they all kind of reflected the same, so really not a lot of change, but that might be a sign that there's good things to come despite the numbers from the first quarter. Now all of lakes individually, Flathead Lake has 89 current active listings on the market and residential and 42 vacant. The sales for the first quarter were 7 residential and 0 vacant land. That compares with 2016 of 7, which is the same, but there were 2 vacant land sales in 2016. There's 4 pending residential sales and there's 1 pending vacant. So a little bit of activity coming our way. On Swan Lake, there are 12 homes for sale and there's 10 vacant lands currently for sale. On Swan Lake, there are 12 residential active listings and 10 vacant land listings. This first quarter of this year saw no transactions of vacant land or residential compared with 2016 that had 1 for residential and 1 for vacant land. So just kind of always been slow on Swan in the winter, and there's no pending sales there. On Echo Lake, there are 6 active residential listings and 3 vacant listings. There were no sales the first quarter of this year in either vacant or residential. Same as 2016, where we had no sales in the first quarter. Those lakes just don't see a lot of winter activity. There is 1 pending residential sale there. On Lake Blaine, there are 7 active listings for residential. There are no vacant properties currently for sale on Lake Blaine, so that would just reflect into no sales this quarter and no sales in 2016 for vacant land. There just hasn't been any for sale to even sell. On the residential side, same numbers, but not, I guess, for different reasons. There were no sales this year and there were no sales in 2016, but there is a residential sale pending on Lake Blaine. Out west, the 3 lakes there have had some activity, but mainly on just Ashley Lake. Ashley Lake has 7 residential properties currently on the market, 4 vacant properties. It has seen 1 residential closing and 2 vacant land closings so far this year, which is up from 2016, where there were no residential sales first quarter and only 1 vacant land, and there's one residential home pending on Ashley Lake. On McGregor Lake, there are 3 residential listings active and 6 vacant land listings active. There were no sales the first quarter of this year. There were no sales of the first quarter of last year in either vacant or residential. There is 1 pending sale on McGregor Lake that's a residential sale. On Bitterroot Lake, there are 7 residential listings active and 4 vacant land active listings. There were 2 transactions on Bitterroot this year as compared with last year, where there were 0. Vacant land saw 0 transactions this year and 0 transactions in 2016, and there is 1 residential pending sale on Bitterroot Lake. We talked a little bit in the past about the surge in residential waterfront on Flathead Lake in the condominium sales side, and I'll talk about that just a little bit. There are 47 active listings for sale right now. 4 have sold the first quarter of this year. It's down from 8 first quarter last year. I'm hoping it's just the weather that kind of pushed those numbers down, and we'll see that surge back. There is one pending sale. I hope you enjoyed this and it was informational. Any questions that you have on this or any topics that you'd like the team to cover in a video, be happy to research it, put out some good information for you. Appreciate you watching this. Pass it on to any friends that you think might be interested in it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.